Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. If I'm talking weird right now, is because I just got freaking wisdom tooth extracted from my mouth today. And I'm still here. I'm still here filming this video for y'all because y'all really wanted this video. So let's get to it. If you're new here, my name is Shirley. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm half Colombian, half Ecuadorian, recent law graduate, passed the bar exam. I grew a platform on TikTok, RIP. If we have time in this video, I'll talk about the TikTok funeral service that we'll be having later on today. If you're new here, welcome. If you knew me from TikTok, Instagram, welcome back, right? And shout out because we really growing here on YouTube. I checked recently and we're at 1,040 something. Like, y'all really thank y'all so much. So let's get into it. This video is going to be about basically how every single boss that I've had, even team that I'm in, I have been honestly liked, and that has made a huge difference in terms of the opportunities that are extended to me and also just my progression of my career. So I'm gonna give you some tips because we all know we gotta be organized, look professional, we gotta be, time managed. Like all these things are important, and I feel like they're kind of common sense, and you could look this up on Google, but nobody really talks about like how personality in the workplace matters. So let's talk about it. Tengo mis notas aquí, and this is coming from someone who has over 6 years of experience in the professional setting in nonprofits, law firms, and now at a huge company. And I generally feel like I just learned how to navigate these spaces. So let me help y'all. All right, number one, when you start a new job, you really I feel like the first week or the first few weeks is the opportunity for you to know, like, where are you? What is the culture? What is your boss's style? Tip number one is really mirroring. What I mean by that is, does your boss expect you to email them back as soon as possible, which honestly has been the case in most of my jobs? In your supervision meetings, do you have small talk? Do you talk about your weekend? Do you have these conversations? Are people friendly? And you should engage in these conversations. Like you should make an effort to like kind of mirror the culture of where you're going to work, because we spend most of our hours at our job, and the job, whatever job you do, it has its own cons, own struggles. But what makes the job better, at least a little bit, is definitely the people you work alongside with and your relationship with your boss. Like if your coworker is inviting you to lunch, like go to lunch. Like if your boss is asking you about your weekend during your supervision meeting, maybe you could also ask her or him like, "Hey, how was your weekend? Like was it fine?" It kind of goes to my second tip. Small talk with everyone, like literally, not even within your team. I guess number two is small talk with everyone, not just your team. I feel like for me, like you just never know who has your back or who's looking out for you, because I've been in situations where I'm not even working with certain people and they're like coming up to me, like they're having my back in certain situations at my job. I feel like also if you work for a big company like I do, there is a lot of like transfers in terms of like transferring internally to another job. And so like making those connections are really important. And so don't be shy. Don't be shy. You know what, where these small talks happen as well? While you're heating up your lunch, while you're waiting for the elevator. Like I could be better at this, to be honest, at my job. If you work at a law firm, don't be afraid to have a relationship with paralegals, legals. Like those are gonna be your go-to people for the most part. It kind of leads to my third tip. Number three, please try to figure it out yourself first. Like nobody wants an annoying person who constantly emails everyone these basic questions that can easily be answered if you do your due diligence. So I always make sure, like, if I have a question, I'm gonna try to answer it either first myself. I'm gonna look around, I'm gonna look through people's previous files, and two, I'm gonna ask people on my team versus my boss. So, yeah, tip number three, figure it out on your own or ask someone who is either your coworker, like y'all on the same level. And obviously, like, take this advice with a grain of salt because it depends on like your supervisor's style. Like, my supervisor told me you could ask anyone on the team for certain things. Definitely just think before you ask. Just be mindful of people's time, like, for real. So that's tip number three. Figure it out yourself first or ask somebody if you can before you go to your supervisor. Number four, which kind of leads into number three, like, figure it out yourself. A lot of what we do, from what I've seen, is things that have already been done before. So, always something that has been my go to in being newbie, but not an annoying newbie at the workplace, is asking people or asking my boss for templates. I always ask this. I'm always like, does anyone have a bank? Does anyone have like drafted emails? And more than likely or not, like, people are willing to give you that and people are willing to share because nobody wants to the trouble of like explaining certain things to you when you already have a template and you could like literally build from that. Like, even in law school, I learned this. Like, you don't have to create your own outline, like your own, like, study sheet. Like, you could ask someone else and build off from that. Like, we do not need to recreate the wheel. So, number four, ask for templates. Ask for resources that will help you because then you don't become this annoying person asking like questions that could just be answered by like a resource bank or by a template. Also, what I do is I go into people's like previous files and I pull up what I see, like an example of an email that they send for this particular case. Like, I just think it's really about you taking the initiative to do the work yourself, to look out for your resources. So, definitely ask for templates, be a useful coworker, and try to not annoy people so much. And number fifth, and I think it is the most useful tip, and I could literally go on a rant on this, like, for real. Do not take anything personal. I'm gonna repeat it because it's that important. Don't take anything personal. People are in a bad mood. Sometimes, people are, something's happening in their personal life and then they like take it on you, or, in the workplace. And I'm not trying to excuse that. I'm not trying to like, justify it. I do think like people should have control over their emotions and how their actions make others feel. But what I will say is that you have the responsibility to dictate how you respond to that aggression, to that disrespect, to people just being rude. There has been so many instances and just like in general in all my working experience that I could have been a really petty person. Like, I could have sent a passive aggressive email. I could have, really went off. Like, being an employee who does not take things personally and kind of like brushes it off is like probably like one thing that jobs seek the most, because nobody wants a team that is kind of dysfunctional, like people don't get along, like people are not easygoing. Like, I really do think sometimes problems arise because of people's inability to let it go. Like, for real, for real. So don't take anything personal. Let's try to be as easygoing, brushing things off type person as you can be, because it really does make a difference. So, as a recap, your personality at work matters, and how you navigate your work environment matters. And how do you do that? Number one, you mirror your company culture, your team culture. Number two, but you small talk everyone. You make those opportunities for yourself. Three, you always try to figure it out yourself or ask somebody besides your boss. Four, how you figure it out is you ask for those templates that definitely exist, or you look at someone's previous files. And fifth, most importantly, you don't take it personally. I think there's a theme also in these like five tips. The theme is you don't want to be that problematic person at work. You want to do your job and leave. You want to be an easygoing person. You want to make people remember you for the type of person that you are, like a positive person in the workforce. And I literally saw that recently. And one of my previous employers actually mentioned that in an affidavit that he filed for my admission process to be an attorney. He noted me to be an easygoing person. Honestly, it was just so sweet. Really made me think of like, yeah, I am this type of person because I am an easygoing person. I am very respectful. I'm very considerate of others, and people notice that. People value that. So whatever you do, definitely try to kind of take this into account. At the end of the day, like I said, nobody wants a Debbie Downer. Nobody wants someone negative. Nobody wants somebody who asks mad questions at work that don't need to be asked. Anyways, I hope this helps. With TikTok being banned, it's like super sad. I built my platform there and then transitioned to Instagram and YouTube, and I am slowly growing on both platforms. I just really want to say thank you so much. And it is truly devastating. Like, I have to make sure I upload all my videos. And so if you see some shorts that are kind of like old, you know, I'm just reposting. I'm just reusing. I'm recycling, good for the environment. Anyways, I'll catch y'all later. I'm so happy I was able to talk. You know why I did this too? Because I saw in the freaking instructions of my oral surgery place that they told me that my swelling would be worse the second or third day. And I was like, nah, I can't have it. Like, imagine, like, I did it right here. Imagine my face like ballooned up. We couldn't do this, so I had to record today. Anyways, I love you so much. More videos. I have actually a list of video ideas, so I'll let you know. And if y'all have any more suggestions, ideas are always welcome. Okay. Some ideas what I'm not wasting money on. Cause honestly, yes, I do make over six figures, but I'm also like very new to having money, I guess. And so I'm really trying to find a balance. What I'm gonna do to lose weight, cause that's my New Year's resolution. Anyways, love ya. Ciao.